Vultures circled this puppy, and then something amazing happened. These days, the news is often filled with divisive and negative stories, and it all gets quite exhausting. Sometimes you just need to read something that warms your heart and reminds you we live in a magnificent world, with some fantastic people. More importantly, though, we live in a world that has dogs in it, and who doesn't love dogs? What you're about to read is a real roller coaster of emotions, so get your Kleenex ready and come along for the ride. We don't want to spoil how amazing the ending is, but just know vultures, a puppy, and some incredible people are involved. Despite being the third most populous city in North Carolina, Greensboro is often described as a quiet town. Thus, when the residents of the quiet neighborhood of Woodmere Park saw vultures circling near the woods, they were shocked. The menacing birds began circling a particular part of the community around Phillips Avenue. Although there are sometimes big birds in the sky, it is not a common sight around a big city to see a vulture, let alone a group of them. Even for a neighborhood lined with trees and surrounded by several creeks, this sort of wild animal was extremely rare. At this point, residents began getting a little nervous. Since vultures are a rare sight in the area, residents were scared and began wondering what exactly brought these creatures into their neighborhood. More urgently, people were wondering what their circling motion meant and if they were dangerous to the residents. Some neighbors did not want to investigate, deeming it a bit too risky. Others were very curious and wanted to know exactly why these birds arrived in Woodmere Park. Even the residents who went to check out the circling creatures knew little about what vultures are and what they hunt. What they discovered broke their heart. The big question on everyone's mind was, what exactly was the group of vultures circling? When neighbors finally approached, they were shocked by what they saw. The vultures had landed in a backyard and were standing around a dog kennel with a little puppy inside it. When the neighbors realized the dog was alive, they were both relieved and terrified. Would the vultures hurt it? Could it protect itself? From their vantage point, they could not tell much about the poor pup. When they got closer, they realized they had to do something. Vultures are physically strong and are often quite large, especially for a bird of prey. You can see why their presence would alarm Woodmere Park's residents. They are also a bird of prey, meaning they are carnivorous and hunt regularly. Vultures, unlike eagles and other birds of prey, however, are scavenger birds of prey. Therefore, they often hunt for carcasses rather than live prey. As the residents got closer to the surrounded puppy, they realized why the vultures were circling. The poor dog was near death. It was barely moving and severely malnourished. Upon discovering the dying dog, residents quickly took action. After seeing the birds of prey threatening the sick puppy, the neighbors were ready to take action. One neighbor decided something needed to be done, and so he called local animal rescue. He also reported what he saw to the ASPCA, American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and urged them to hurry. The dog was in a terrible state, chained and abandoned in the cold during the Christmas season. The man didn't know if they would come in time or if the puppy had much time left. Animal rescue arrived as soon as they could and bravely scared away the big, scary vultures. Just before they flew away, a reporter captured the amazing photo above of the committee of vultures sitting around the kennel and on top of it. This photo, as heartbreaking as it was, went viral and was a crucial step for the little pup's recovery. When the rescuers saved the dog, they grabbed it and left a note on the owner's door to let them know the animal had been taken. This was just a formality, as the owners obviously didn't care for this dog one bit. After being abandoned and neglected, residents of Woodmere Park and animal rescuers expected the puppy to be in quite bad shape. Thankfully, the pit bull was not as bad off as she could have been. When looked over by a vet, she found that the dog was extremely malnourished and had some cuts along her tail, body, and ears that were likely from the vultures. However, outside of this, the dog's health was not in any immediate danger. Unfortunately, the dog still faced another big challenge. the animal shelter, and finding a forever home. When the puppy arrived at the shelter, it was discovered she was a girl. The adorable pit bull was obviously terrified, cold, and weak. Thankfully, the rescue occurred before it was too late, though it was close. The Guilford County Animal Control took the puppy to the nearest animal shelter in Greensboro. They hoped she would soon settle in and get adopted. One day, the shelter got a call from the dog's owner telling them that they would come and collect their pet. The shelter waited and waited for the owners to return. However, they once again let down their loyal puppy and never turned up. While shelters are amazing and essential part of any city, they are not a permanent solution, since they are usually overcrowded and new cases arrive every single day. Shelters do not have room for every dog that needs help. As a result, they work really hard to get dogs adopted and start a new chapter in their lives. The harsh reality is that not enough people adopt shelter dogs, and they often have to resort to euthanasia. Although none of the shelter workers want to do this, it is sometimes necessary to end the misery of dogs who get their heart broken each time they are not picked up for adoption. As if being an abandoned puppy weren't enough, this pup was also an abandoned pit bull. This means that her troubles were doubled. After being at the shelter for 2 weeks, its workers were at a loss with what to do with her. The shelter, like many others, had a policy against putting pit bulls up for adoption. This is due to their bad reputation and the negative views people have on the breed. Unfortunately, many people are misinformed about this breed and many others. Some dog breeds have a bad reputation. They are considered bad dogs and risky to own as pets. These breeds include pit bulls, Dobermans, Rottweilers, and German Shepherds. People fear them because they think they are dangerous and might harm them. These breeds are also responsible for most of the attacks on other animals. However, we have to question whether it's in these breeds' nature or if it's bad training. More often than not, dangerous dogs are raised to be that way and are the actual victims. In reality, pit bulls are the opposite of dangerous. When raised and trained with love and compassion, they are amazing companions for babies and children. They are loyal, calm, and loving, even with strangers. They will often wag their tail in excitement and smell and lick people trying to play with them. At the end of the day, dogs are a product of their owners. Pit bulls are no different. If they are raised in a happy and loving home, they will grow up to be that way. If neglected and mistreated, they will be defensive and scared, much like people. Luckily for our saved pup, there is a fantastic foundation working in North Carolina that specializes in helping pit bulls. The Merit Pit Bull Foundation was given this helpless puppy in the hopes that they could find a forever home for her. The foundation gladly took her in and helped her heal as much as they could. Luckily, although she was mistreated her entire life, she was a friendly and timid puppy who just wanted to be loved. For this reason, the volunteers knew she could be adopted soon. Finally, the special day arrived, and our saved puppy was brought to a foster home. Young couple Kiana Lynch and Travis Henley heard of the young dog and decided they would take her in until a family was found that would want to adopt her permanently. Lynch and Henley wanted to make sure the pup had somewhere warm to stay until she could locate a forever home. They also wanted to spoil her to start a new chapter in her life. The couple already cared for 2 dogs and had successfully fostered other dogs, so they thought the pup wouldn't stay there long. When the puppy arrived at her new foster home, she finally received a name befitting her beauty, Lilo, and she began responding to it. This was part of the long process of showing Lilo she was now safe and being taken care of. Having a name to answer to, and one that is called lovingly, is very important for dogs. It shows them they are part of the pack, or family. But this was just part of Lilo's journey. At every turn, Lilo's new foster parents showered her with love and devotion, and it meant the world to her. Lynch and Henley are thankful they saw the photo and decided to foster Lilo. Had they passed on the opportunity, they never would have gone on the incredible journey that followed. The longer Lilo spent in Lynch and Henley's home, the more they fell in love with her. They realized she was the puppy they needed, the dog that would complete their family. Although it may have been a tad selfish, Lynch and Henley didn't want any other family to have little Lilo. They wanted her to stay with them and their 2 other dogs, Gemma and Gypsy, and we don't blame them. It wouldn't be easy, but Lynch and Henley took the challenge head on, their mission to make Lilo part of their family. As if it weren't enough that Lynch and Henley took little Lilo into their home, now they wanted to officially adopt her. This would make Lilo a permanent member of the Lynch-Henley family. Lilo was thrilled, and even though she was still shy and timid, you could tell the pup was relieved. No more vultures circling over her head, abuse, or fighting for her life. The formalities didn't take long to sort out. Since Lilo was abandoned by her owners, transferring the ownership over to her new parents was easy. Soon the adorable puppy was officially added to the family. Lilo now had 2 older sisters, Gypsy and Gemma. The 3 bonded incredibly quickly, which made life so much easier for their parents. Had the dogs not bonded, Lynch and Henley may not have adopted poor Lilo at all. However, bonding with her sisters was not Lilo's only task. She needed to adjust to a brand new home. For the first time in her life, someone was taking care of her, but also telling her how to behave and what to do. This is no easy adjustment for an abandoned dog. Luckily for Lilo, she was in the best possible hands. Lynch and Henley began training Lilo for everything, from understanding basic commands to potty training. Lilo needed to learn it all. As Lynch said, she had no clue what to do in the house. She was not house trained and she didn't really know what to do with toys. Lynch, Henley, and Lilo put a lot of effort into the training, and soon enough, the pup was progressing rapidly. 8 months, which was Lilo's age at adoption, is a great age to train dogs as they are still young enough to make habits, but mature enough to understand commands. Lilo was definitely a happier pup than when she arrived at the Lynch-Henley home. However, this didn't mean she was entirely over her past abuses. It is important to remember she was extremely miserable for the first 8 months of her life. Lynch says that she cannot leave Lilo by herself as she gets anxious. Her anxiety manifests itself in howling and crying by the door. Don't worry though, Lynch and Henley are amazing parents, and they knew what to do. Since her adoption, her parents have been slowly teaching Lilo to be less anxious. As time passed, Lilo became happier and happier. Lilo began having fun outside and playing with her sisters, learning how to play with toys. Her real personality was shining through more and more. Lilo is a happy and funny dog who loves cuddling. In fact, Lynch says that Lilo is basically a baby. She prefers to be held like a baby and snuggled with any chance she can get. We completely understand. With such loving parents, it's the perfect recipe for cuddles. Plus, having 2 great sisters makes Lilo's life even better and more vibrant. These days, Lilo has the best life. When she's not playing with her sisters, she hangs out in the pool. Lilo loves swimming and playing in the water, and hanging out in the sun. During winter, she enjoys playing in the snow and goofing around. She's even got a pair of snow boots so she can have fun in the cold. The common denominator of everything is that Lilo plays all day, every day. This is such a drastic change from her previous life, and she's finally got the family she deserves. Lilo, despite now being 3 years old, still has the mentality of a puppy, which is what makes her so adorable. Still acting like a puppy makes sense as Lilo is the baby of the family. Gemma and Gypsy are older and let Lilo goof around a lot. Their parents also indulge her playful personality and often dress her in the cute outfits. During the winter, she has adorable sweaters, while in summer she wears tutus and skirts. All 3 dogs seem to love these games of dress-up and cooperate with their hilarious parents. Gemma, Gypsy, and Lilo love striking a pose for the camera, which is what led their mom to her next move. Kiana Lynch decided to open an Instagram page documenting Lilo's incredible journey and transformation. The page, called Lilo's Story, is both moving and hilarious. The first post on the page is of Lilo's iconic photo, in which we see the vultures all around her. Nearly all the rest of them are of the happy dog playing around the house. Lynch often posts photos of the family cuddling, sleeping, or dressing up. She also shows the amazing things Lilo does for the dog community and how she helps other dogs find homes. As we've mentioned earlier, dogs have many functions in our society. One of the most amazing things that can be done with dogs is to use them as motivational dogs. They are used on posters and ads to encourage people to do things to make society better. Lilo, for example, is the poster pit bull for the fantastic foundation that saved her life, the Merit Pit Bull Foundation. More on them in a bit. By using her story and photos, the foundation shows how great pit bulls are and the inspiring journeys that can be taken by adopting one. Yet another vital role dogs have is therapy use. Since dogs are instinctively loyal and loving, their presence can genuinely save lives. Specially trained dogs visit hospitals to encourage the patients there and help them be positive. This companionship is essential for these people and helps them on their road to recovery. Dogs offer a calming and soothing presence that is non-judgmental, no matter the patient's condition. Additionally, as most dog owners know, they can tell when someone is sad and needs a cuddle. For this reason, their role as therapy dog is essential all over the world. Our unique little Lilo is a helpful little dog herself. Not only is she the poster dog of the Merit Pit Bull Foundation, but she's also a therapy dog. Lilo works closely with children in schools, just like her older sister Gemma. Lilo goes to schools and libraries and calms the children as they learn to read. Dogs really help kids who struggle with schoolwork or anxiety by assisting them in relaxing. Afterward, when they are relaxed, they can focus and retain information better. Being such a happy pup allows Lilo to be the perfect therapy dog for kids. The Merit Pit Bull Foundation is a unique charity. It focuses solely on pit bulls and changing their negative reputation. It tries to find forever homes for all forgotten and strayed pit bulls and make sure they do not die in shelters. In 2012, several volunteers banded together and founded this amazing foundation. It not only seeks to find homes for dogs, but also educates new owners on the proper training of bull breeds. The organization wants to ensure everyone is safe and happy, including the dogs. Furthermore, the foundation publicly educates citizens on bull breeds and works on shattering the stereotypes surrounding them. One of the most important things the Merit Pit Bull Foundation and many others fight against are puppy mills. These horrible places do not care for their dogs and just want to maximize profits by producing as many purebred puppies as possible. The cruelty of these farms is genuinely horrible, and many foundations are working hard to spread the word that they are dangerous. No breed of dog is worth the pain and suffering of the animals in those mills. Worse still, these mills often do not vet buyers, leading to tragic situations like Lilo's. You can help stop puppy mills from existing. One thing you can do is start adopting dogs instead of buying them. Adopting a dog, regardless of size, age, or breed, is a gift that keeps on giving. You will always know that you saved a life, and your dog will be forever grateful and loving. Furthermore, you can feel great that your money went to a shelter instead of a mill. Lilo is a beautiful example of how amazing and important it is to adopt dogs. If you are interested in doing so, there are many places you can contact, your local animal shelter being one of them. Also, contact the ASPCA for any more information you need regarding the topic. So remember, adopt, don't shop.